Good morning, and welcome to the Alameda Connection on KCSM HD2. I'm your host, Scott Piehler. Every Sunday morning on the Alameda Connection, it's my pleasure to bring you the people, places, and things that make Alameda one of the East Bay's most fascinating destinations. When it comes to holidays, Alameda is well known for three: the 4th of July with its longest in the nation parade, Halloween with its thousands of trick-or-treaters and theatrical level displays, and then there's Christmas. Christmas Tree Lane is routinely named as one of the best spots to view Christmas lights in the country. And then there's the tap-dancing Christmas trees. From Alameda to the Macy's parade and all stops in between, Alameda's tap-dancing Christmas trees have literally danced their way into the hearts of the nation. What started out as a one-time way to end a dance recital has turned into one of Alameda's most beloved traditions and beloved exports. I sat down with Pamm Drake, founder of Dance 10 Performing Arts Center and the creator of the Tap Dancing Christmas Trees. We'll find out what brought the trees to life, what's involved in getting the trees across the country, and just what it means to be a dancer. That's this morning. Pamm Drake, the creator of the Tap Dancing Christmas Trees, on the Alameda Connection on KCSM HD2. Good morning, Pamm, and welcome to the Alameda Connection.
Good morning. Thank you, Scott.
Oh, pleasure to have you. First of all, let's start with your background. You're a veteran of the Broadway chorus line?
I did Chorus Line National Touring Company for 2 years, was cast in San Francisco in an open casting call, and was on tour with them for 2 years.
Wow. So are you native to the area?
Yeah, born and raised in Oakland.
Okay, so on the road for a while and then back, been here ever since?
Graduated from UCLA and came back to Mills College to do my master's degree in choreography, and was scheduled to do student teaching and was assigned to work at College of Alameda, and ended up teaching in Alameda at Alameda School of Dance for many, many years before I opened my own studio here in Alameda.
We're here, obviously, because this show will air right after Thanksgiving. We're getting right into the holiday season, so we're going to talk, obviously, about the tap dancing Christmas trees. This is the 35th year?
35th year.
35th year, and this came about organically. Talk about the beginnings of the trees.
Hoda Kotb said it the best when she interviewed us this last time. What was originally meant to be a finale for a recital for my dance studio, I had the idea of dressing up a few people as Christmas trees, running around the stage, and one of my students was cutting us down with a pretend chainsaw. After that was done, many of the parents and many of the audience kept saying, "That was so funny. Where are the Christmas trees? We want the Christmas trees." And one of my dancers said, "Well, if they like us that much, I guess we should be hired out for jobs."
Okay.
So I took an ad out in the San Francisco Chronicle, add a little kick to your holiday event, hire the tap dancing Christmas trees, and the phone started to ring.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was 35 years ago. And now
Wow.
we're still doing the same thing.
How did word spread? Once, you put out an ad, obviously things, it was just word of mouth. What happened?
What happened was we started doing a lot of performances, locally.
Okay.
Tree lightings was the big thing.
Oh, sure.
San Francisco, Union Square, City Hall, tree lighting, Emeryville, Hayward. Once we started doing those big public events, Oakland, we got kind of known as being out there for the trees. And then the first parade experiences I had, I started working with Ray Pulver from Upbeat Parade Productions.
Okay.
I sat on the committee for the Oakland Chamber of Commerce for many years, organizing the Oakland Children's Holiday Parade,
Okay.
which no longer exists, but we did that for almost 23 years. And that was my first parade experience with him and figuring out how to manage a parade, how to be in the parade. And that's when I got to start using my Christmas trees as the opening number for parades.
I know what you went through with parades. As we were talking before we started the interview, my mother was a twirling instructor, and I got handed the banner on the parade.
Yes.
I know what's involved. How many trees are there this year?
68.
68. And there
Yes.
were, 5 to start with? Originally?
There were 5 to start with.
That's incredible. What kind of person comes and says, "Hey, I want to be a tree"?
Well, mostly they're my students at the studio that either study with me or one of our other teachers at the studio that have been tapping, and, they're familiar with what goes on Thursday nights when, 65 people come to the studio and start rehearsing. They want to know what that's all about. Also, the word kind of spread like this. The last couple of years, I've started having open auditions for people. I have a new student that came from, she's a tap teacher in Marin. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "Well, I just want to be a tree. You guys are so famous." I said, "Oh, all right." People have have just kind of navigated and collected around us. There's something about putting on a tree costume and dancing down the street. You have to be a little bit zany, but there aren't a lot of opportunities for older dancers.
Sure.
I mean, we're all adults. People think it's going to be kids. We're all adults that are doing this. And people that have tapped as kids or as teens come back to the studio, haven't had a tap class in 25 years, want to get back in shape and be a tree.
How many people do you think have been a tree over the 35 years? Do you have any number?
No, but the other night we introduced ourselves and we went around the room and everybody said, "Hi, I'm a tree. I've been this for 35 years. Hi, I've been for 20 years. Hi, this is my first year." And we logged in over 850 years of people that have been. I told my assistant, keep track as they're saying their name and how many years, right? And it was over 850.
That is incredible.
That was fun.
I have to ask, have there been or are there male trees?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have male trees. We have a husband and wife. We have a lot of mothers and daughters. We have a mother-daughter granddaughter.
Oh, wow.
Right now. And we have 4 or 5 guys that have been in and out of trees.
How many times have the trees been to the Macy's Parade?
6.
6. I know this is like the old joke. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? How do you wind up in the Macy's Parade?
In 2001, I had a student, Ethan Kirschbaum, who was a junior Mr. Dance of California, and I took him to New York City to audition for junior Mr. Dance of America. He did very well. He came in first runner-up. So I said, well, while I'm in New York, I'm just going to take my scrapbook. I'm going to go over to Macy's and see if I can get in the parade. And I walked myself into the corporate offices and met Wesley Watley, who's the creative director for the parade. He kept saying to me, "Ma'am, you know, this is cast in April,
right,
and this is August."
Okay.
And the whole time I was sitting at his office, he kept yelling down the hall to Robin Hall, who's the director of the parade, "Robin, you have to come down here and take a look at this. You might be interested in this." And then he kept turning to me and saying, "You know, you're too late. Robin, come on down here." And I didn't say anything. I just sat there with my little book of pictures, you know. He was a tap dancer. He danced for Disney for many years. He was the director of this whole thing. And so he and I just kind of hit it off. By the time I got back from New York, I had a letter inviting us to the parade.
That's quite the story.
And then 9/11 hit.
Oh, okay.
And I got another letter from him asking us to please not drop out of the parade, that many of the groups had decided they were not going to come because they were concerned about safety, especially with big groups of people.
Sure.
And I called him. We had a long talk, and I said, "We're coming." And he said, "I would really appreciate if you would continue to come." And I said, "We're coming. We're making plans. We'll
Fantastic.
be there." We just clicked over that whole experience. When we got there, the security was so strict. So every year since then, I've applied to Macy's. I have this, outstanding application that we send to them every year. Over those years, we've been invited back 6 times.
What was the most recent one?
2023.
2023. I remember watching that, and it was funny because my wife and I had just moved out from the East Coast, so I was frantically calling my family back on the East Coast going, "You gotta see this."
I think that Wesley's been my ace in my hand for many years. He likes us. We like him. One point, I got a phone call from a woman from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, saying she was going to bring her dancers to the Macy's parade, and if she didn't mind me sharing some thoughts with her, that Wesley had given her my phone number and said, "If you want to do this correctly, call Pamm Drake."
That's high praise.
That's high.
That's
high. My manager, my assistant, Ryan Justice, and I mean, we've put this together every single time. We do all the booking. We do the airlines. We transport the costumes, which is a huge deal.
Oh, golly, yes.
We do the hotels. We do the bus that takes us to and from the airport, the bus that takes us to the parade. We do Thanksgiving dinner at Carmine's for 150 people. We've done this for enough times that we kind of know now what to do and how to put it all together, and it works for us.
Any great travel stories just from, things go wrong? It's rock and roll. It's dance, but it's rock and roll.
If you see the documentary that's coming out this next few months, one of my students this last year, they were packing their car in Oakland and getting ready to go to the airport, and while they were upstairs they were robbed. Their suitcases were stolen, and her costume was stolen, and her shoes, and all of her accoutrements that go along with the costume. We were already there. We got these phone calls, these crisis phone calls, so we started calling everybody that we knew and saying, bring an extra pair of shoes, bring an extra pair of pants, bring a headband, somebody go over to the dance studio and grab an extra costume that's hanging up there. And we made it work.
Very
but
good.
She almost didn't get to be in the parade.
How hard are those costumes to transport? They don't look foldable.
Costumes go in bike boxes.
Okay.
We can usually put 3 or 4 in a bike box. The problem being that, when you get to the airport, they've got to take them out, take a look at them, make sure everything's copacetic. We transport them in boxes, and then we get to the airport, we have to tape them all closed. So it's a lot. Take them on a cart, put them in the bus, take them to the hotel, put them in my room. Everybody has to come pick up their costumes.
I can't imagine, because I have enough trouble getting a microphone through TSA. TSA must have a field day.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Usually we warn them. We're coming. We're a big group. We're going to have these costumes. And how do you want us? Can we have a group person meet us? Do we need to tape the boxes up before we get there? How are you going to scan these things? What do you want to do? How much do we have to pay for each box? Can we organize that before we get there? Can we have a contact person that we can connect with before we get there? Because it's going to be chaos otherwise.
Oh, sure. What kind of person makes a good tree? I mean, a separate of dancing ability, what kind of person, what mentality is needed to be a good tree?
Somebody with a lot of humor and a great face.
Okay.
It's not just about tap dancing. I mean, yeah, we tap the whole way. And I think that was the other thing that kind of shocked everybody. We have a loop of music that's a track, and sometimes in a parade we can go through that track 5 or 6, 7 times.
Sure.
We dance the whole Macy's parade from the time we started at Museum of Natural History all the way to Herald Square. We dance the whole way.
That's got to be exhausting.
Yeah. But, it's also energizing when you have all these people yelling and screaming, and, it's stamina. It's an attitude towards spreading a lot of joy and having a lot of fun with it. You can tell right away. We're going to pass out costumes this week, and people are either going to be excited or going to go, really? I'm supposed to wear this? These shoes? How am I going to maneuver myself down the street? Because you can't see your feet.
How many performances do the trees do in a season?
Last year, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I did 43 shows and 4 parades.
There aren't 43 days between those two.
Like this year, December the 5th, I have 5 shows in one day.
Oh, my goodness.
We have 2 levels of trees. I have, almost 70 parade trees.
Sure.
And in those 70 trees, I have 23 people this year that I call my professional trees that go out and do jobs.
Okay.
They have lots more rehearsal time to do. They're much more committed. They're much more advanced. And so when I go out and do tree lighting, like, we're doing Civic Center, San Francisco Civic Center, they go out on a big stage and they do a 10-minute set.
Now, this year you had auditions in May. That's typically when auditions?
Yeah, well, we decided to go kind of early this year because what happens is if you're going to be a tree, you have to take tap classes, obviously, and you have to have rehearsal times on Thursdays and Friday nights. So it worked out better for us to come in early and kind of get a perspective and get people their schedules. Ryan and I are really organized in terms of scheduling people. A lot of people audition, and then when they look at the commitment, they go, oh, I can't come.
What kind of commitment is it? What are they looking at?
At least 1 tap class a week, which could be any night of the week. And then rehearsals on Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30, and then rehearsals on Friday for new people, 6:30 to 8. Could be at least 3 nights at the studio.
You founded Dance 10. And then in 2023, ownership passed over to Ryan Justice. How have you been with stepping away from your baby there?
Well, I still teach for Ryan. And Ryan and I have worked together, for years. Ryan was my student.
Okay.
He and his sister were competitive dancers as a team. He was working for me as my operations manager for many, many years. And so when I got to the point where I felt like it was time for me to sell the business, it was just a no-brainer that Ryan was the person that was going to take over. We've just changed seats.
Right.
But we still work together. We still manage the trees together. We still manage the studio together. It's been nice for me to step away from some of the obligations. I've been teaching in Alameda for 50 years. Wow. In September, I hit 50 years since I came up from UCLA.
Okay.
Having a little extra time.
Sure.
Managing the trees is enough for me now.
Oh, sure.
But managing a dance studio with all those teachers and all those classes and costumes and recitals and all the extra obligations that you do to make a successful dance studio, it's a lot.
And I have to say a compliment because I actually live about 3 blocks away from Dance 10.
Okay.
I'm often walking my dog by Dance 10. As my listeners know, I was a theater educator, and I can kind of tell how things going in a dance setting, in whatever, a music setting, in a theater setting. Everybody's always happy around Dance 10.
Oh, that's a nice observation. That's great.
What makes for a happy teaching environment in the arts? I
think what happens is that, the people that we have teaching for us are all educated and professional, but they're also very committed. It takes a lot to show up. Some of them have, other jobs, daytime jobs. So come in after your daytime job, and maybe you're a school teacher all day, and then come in and teach for 4 or 5 hours in the evening. But everybody, I think that we have around us, just loves to dance.
Mm-hmm.
What I've learned about dance is, there's the benefits from it are so different. There's not just the exercise, but it's the
Sure.
endorphins that you get going and and the camaraderie and the stimulation mentally. So, I think we've just generated that. And we have this reputation for just being inclusive in the community. We take everybody
Right.
and everybody's welcome. And, we've got all generations and all ages. And I think, and we all dance together. I used to do these big productions where we had the little kids and the teenagers dancing with the teachers.
Oh, fantastic.
So people feel included.
How long do you see yourself staying with the trees?
I don't know. Who knows? When I'm in the middle of the season, like right now, and I'm booking all these jobs, I've got contracts and clients, and trying to book everybody. I'm like, oh, can I do this another year? And then when that's over, Christmas starts at our house in like August, and I'm like, okay, ready to go. I don't know. Next year is the Macy's 100th parade. Will we be invited?
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wesley's not there anymore, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
What has kept you at it this long?
What, the trees or dancing or the whole thing?
Let's address them all. So what's kept you dancing? What kept you with Dance 10 as the owner for as long as it? And then what keeps you with the trees?
I think I was born to dance. When I got into dance as a young kid and into theater, I was doing musical theater as a young kid, I finally found my niche. I had more energy than I knew what to do with. I was louder than what I knew what to do with. I sing. It was a fit for me. And I danced in high school, and I was the head of the dance club in high school, majored in dance in college. I've got a BA from UCLA and MA from Mills. And so I've always danced, but it's always been my love. It's always been my literally my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected to run a dance studio.
Okay.
I never expected to be a teacher. I thought I was going to be a professional dancer.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't go for many, many years. It's
Right.
like being a baseball player. I mean, you
Right.
can't, things have changed now. And, when I go to the theater, there are older dancers. It's a little more inclusive.
Sure.
But when I was dancing, I mean, everybody was, 19 and 20 and 21. And that kind of strenuous dancing you don't do in your 40s and your 50s. So where do you go? What do you do? I made my own environment so that I could keep dancing. And I surrounded myself with adults who wanted to dance at the level that I want to dance at, which is pretty high. We go to competition every year, and we're known for the studio around the country that has adult dancers that dance at a competitive level.
So you not only found your tribe, but you made your tribe.
Yeah. Because I wanted to continue and I didn't want to be excluded from it. In 2018, I auditioned and got into the Hardwood Classics. I danced for the Golden State Warriors for a year.
Really?
Yeah, which was really fun. I was 55 and over. I opened audition and I got cast. But then the pandemic hit and we were only on Zoom and they were making videos. And then when all that was over and it was kind of, do I want to go back to that? I thought, well, I'll just do my own thing.
Right. So what's kept you with the trees?
It's the one thing that's been just me.
Okay.
I created this. It's evolved with me. I've been the person that's been setting out the image of it. I do the marketing for it. And I have a real specific image that I want for the Christmas trees that I impose. I like that. I like the fact that I'm in charge of all of that,
Sure.
and that it's reflective of me, and Ryan. I mean, he's a huge part of the success of it. But I like the fact of that what I've created. When you're a dancer, you live in space. You live in space and time. And if you're not at the concert or not at the recital or, you don't see the product. And the trees have created a product that is actually visual and relatable. And it's something that's tangible that I've been able to latch onto that doesn't dissipate so quickly.
What about celebrities? Have you ever had a celebrity come up to you and say, "I love what you do"?
We've worked with Dick Van Dyke one time. That
Really?
was in the Hollywood parade. Yeah, he was right ahead of us with his dancers, and we got to take pictures with him and talk to him. And he was
fun.
he was fun, and he was very supportive of us, and thought we were just hysterical. So we spent some good time with him. We worked with Krista Yamaguchi at her ice skating rink. That was
Okay.
fun. Brian Boitano at his ice skating rink. I think Dick Van Dyke was the best. That would have been the Hollywood parade 2010.
So he would have been 85.
I guess,
At the
yeah.
time.
He was dancing in a float ahead of us with a bunch of male dancers. They were doing his signature dance, the old bamboo.
What do you think it is about the trees that has made them endearing and enduring? I've never met anyone who says, if they know them, they love them.
Last year when I was getting ready to go to New York, I was asking my neighbor to take care of my house. I was showing him pictures and he says, wait a minute, you dress up like a Christmas tree and you dance down the street in a parade like Macy's. I said, yes. And he said, why? And I said, because it's really fun and we bring a lot of energy to people. We're so isolated now with everybody with, social media,
Sure.
and to get out into the community and do something like, dancing in a parade or being in a performance and seeing people's reactions, like wherever we go, even if we're doing a tree lighting, afterwards, everybody wants to take a picture with the trees. People hand me their baby and say, take a picture with the baby, for my Christmas card. I'm sure we're on so many people's Christmas cards and pictures.
Oh, that's fantastic.
On the other hand, I've had people say, well, can you be on our TV show and bring me a costume? I want to be a tree. And I'm
Right.
like, no, I don't do that.
You earn that.
Yeah. So enduring, my husband says we're a 35-year overnight success. It's just been something that we've just kept doing and evolving. I mean, our costumes have evolved radically. My choreography's evolved drastically. Our reputation has built continually. My friend said the other day, when you quit, this is going to be over because nobody's going to put in this much work. And my perspective of the arts has changed, because when I go to see theater and dance now, rather than sit back and say, oh, how beautiful, what I see is the work. I see Pete Escovedo and how many years he's worked at getting where he is. How many ballet classes has that girl had? How many classical piano lessons has that young man had? I see the work. And I think that's what the trees are, the work I've put into them for 35 years.
Let's talk about dance in general. I was a theater educator. I saw what performance could do, especially for young people. You must have similar experience of having watched someone awaken or come to themselves through dance.
Oh, yeah. Many. Ironically, for me, it's been the young men.
Really?
My crusade through Dance Masters, I was president of Dance Masters for many years, but my crusade through the professional organization has been promoting young men in dance. And I've had 18 wins for Junior Mr. Dance, Teen Mr. Dance, and Mr. Dance over the years. And I teach an all-boys class at the studio, and I coach a lot of boys. When you get a guy hooked on dance, it's a different experience, because it's harder for them. There's stigma, there's all the things, but once a guy gets hooked to dance, it's exciting and wonderful, because just physically they're able to do more things, and usually in working and coaching on one-on-one with a young man, they're more game to try things, which to me is exciting. Try this. Have you ever thought about trying this? And they go for it, and it's like, oh, okay, we can do that.
Well, I know historically there's been more than one NFL wide receiver who has gone into dance and said, yeah, I'm catching more touchdowns because I know how to dance.
Yeah. Well, my stepson, he was in junior high school. He played soccer, and he's really fast and really, talented. And he started doing dance, and coach called me and he said, what are you doing that's different? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, Young's got a real different approach to the ball. And he said, when he's watching the ball and he's on it, and I said, that's dance, because when he's in the classroom, he's watching the teacher and he's copying and emulating what the teacher's doing quickly. And so he's transferring that movement from the teacher to the ball. And his coach said, wow, he's really changed. He's really on it now.
When I was directing high school theater, I loved it when dancers came out to audition, even if it was not for a role that involved dance, because they knew how to take instruction, they had body control, and they knew how to emote for 15 rows back. I think you and I are on the same page with that one.
Well, I just read a book about musicals. This young man had been in like 15 musicals, but what he talks about in the book is the benefits of dance way other than being in a Broadway show.
Sure.
You learn how to dress up, suit up, stay in shape, take directions. You learn how to be thrown under the bus. There were so many times when I was on the road where we would show up in a theater, never seen the stage.
Sure.
Get off the airplane or get off the bus, run into the stage and start performing, and there's somebody next to you that you don't even know, you've never seen them before. Who are you? They brought me in from the New York cast. I'm filling in tonight for Mike.
Right.
Oh, all right
okay.
then. Yeah. Even with the Christmas trees, like we go out sometimes and we do these professional shows, and we're on a stage that we've never seen before. We're hoping that the sound man plays the right music. We had one guy one time hit shuffle.
Oh, no.
Because he said, well, you guys are tap dancers. He hit shuffle, and our playlist went from 5 to 2 to 4 to 1 to 3. We pulled it off. We just, what's going to be next?
On behalf of sound guys everywhere, I would like to apologize.
There's an aspect about being a professional dancer that is literally being on your toes, figuratively and literally, because you never quite know. Is the stage going to be slippery? Is the stage going to open up? Did they clamp it below? There's all these things, and you just learn to go with the flow. And so if you translate that into work. You learn from dance just to make it work. And I think that applies to your life. You just make your life work.
Who are your dance heroes?
Well, I studied a lot in college with a man named Donald McHale. He's passed away now. He was a wonderful teacher and he was a wonderful choreographer. I loved his style. Well, I guess my biggest hero was a woman that I studied with in Washington, D.C. I took a summer workshop from her. Her name was Lee Theodore. I read about her in Dance Magazine, and she had a company on Broadway called American Dance Machine. And what she was doing was she was taking choreographers or dancers from original Broadway shows and staging those original choreography into a Broadway show. The ballet from Oklahoma or Steamed Heat from Pajama Game, she would bring in the dancers that were in there and stage those shows on her dancers. And so she was maintaining original choreography from Broadway into a show. And I learned a lot from her. She was crazy. She asked me the first day what my name was, and I said it was Pam, and she goes, I hate that name. What's your, you smoked, blew smoke. You know, they all used to smoke in your face. What's your middle name? So I said, Ray. So she called me Ray for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
But I learned a lot from her. Lee Theodore, American Dance Machine.
What about the celebrity dancers? Are there any ones that if you've had to point to someone who may not know dance?
Oh, I'm in love with Derek Huff. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Every time I see him, we saw his show last year down in San Jose.
Okay.
I love what he does.
What is it about his dance stuff?
Musicality.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, he's so musical. I go down once a year and judge down in L.A. at a big dance competition. Sometimes I just want to say to the teacher, why did you pick this music to dance to? It's just, there's so much good music out there. Why would you pick this?
Right.
You know, and when you see Derek, I mean, he picks the best pieces of music and he choreographs to every little nuance, every little accent. You know, maybe he's throwing a red flag or he's spinning a girl, but his musicality is stunning.
What do you wish more people understood about dance? If you could say to a layperson, this is what you're missing about dance.
2 things, how hard it is and how long it takes to really be a dancer. People think they're going to come in and breeze through and take a couple of dance classes and they're going to be a dancer. And we've watered it down by videos and TikTok and all that stuff. I had a lady call me one time and said, well, how many lessons would it take to become a dancer? And I said, well, you get the basics about 10 years. And she said, no, really? And I said, no, I'm serious,
Sure.
Really. About 10 years into it, you start feeling, you know, like you understand what's going on. Dance looks easy. That's the dichotomy of dance. We're supposed to make it look easy, but it's not easy in any way.
What do you like about Alameda?
Well, when I came up from UCLA and I went to the Bank of America and the woman remembered my name the second time I came in, I was so blown away, you know, having, you know, oh, small town.
That's culture shock, right?
Wow. Okay. People know each other. There's a feeling of safety. There's a feeling of community in this town that is endearing.
You've got a guest coming into Alameda. You have to take them out. Where are you going?
I like to go to Pier 29 only because of the scenery. I mean, to sit over there by the boats.
Right,
Because
sure.
I love Catalina and I love the water and I love boats.
How can people best keep up with what the trees are up to?
Well, you can check out our website, thetapdancingchristmastrees.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should mention the documentary. Have we talked about that?
Thank you for bringing that up because I meant to bring that up. I know it's done and it's been shown, but where is it at?
Sean Daniels contacted me about a year ago, and he followed us around for many, many months with his group of students on the set. He's done a wonderful job with this. He's put together a fantastic collection of interviews. My nephew, Morgan Sagan, he goes with us on the parades. He's a videographer and a photographer, and he used a lot of Morgan's original stuff. Altarena Playhouse is showing the video December the 13th at 7 o'clock and December the 14th at 2 o'clock, and the Tap Dancing Christmas Trees will be dancing there prior to the viewing.
Okay, so that's Altarena, December 13th and 14th.
Yes.
What other events are coming up in December?
Alameda tree lighting. December the 6th, we will be on the street in front of City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Tree Lane, December the 12th, Friday night, 6 o'clock, we dance down Christmas Tree Lane, Thompson Street. We're doing Napa tree lighting. We're doing Hayward tree lighting. We're doing Niles Parade, Castro Valley Parade. So we're kind of all over the Bay Area. Palo Alto, San Carlos tree lighting, Hayes Valley. Oh, our big thing this last year and this year we're doing again is we're at San Francisco Airport.
Really?
In the terminal.
Which terminal?
International Terminal. Yeah, and we did that last year. We were there all day, and so we're going to be there on the December the 12th and the 19th on Fridays all day, welcoming people to San Francisco.
That is fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Pamm Drake from the Dancing Christmas Trees. This has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for inviting me. This has been fun.
Take care. Thanks again to Pamm Drake, the founder of Dance 10 Performing Arts Center and the creator of the Tap Dancing Christmas Trees. Wherever you are in the Bay Area, keep an eye out because you're bound to find the trees tap dancing their way somewhere near you. Coming up next week on the Alameda Connection, while joy and celebration certainly are at the heart of the holiday season, it is, as Dickens reminds us, a time of all others when want is keenly felt. My guest will be Teal Harden, Executive Director of the Alameda Food Bank. And while the focus is often on food drives during the holidays, the food bank's work continues 365 days a year. That's Teal Harden, Executive Director of the Alameda Food Bank, next week on the Alameda Connection. Thanks as always to the California Historical Radio Society for providing our recording location for my conversation with Pamm Drake. And thanks again to Bill Hart for our theme music. The song is called Beachside Isle, and it's from his 1999 album, Watch the Sky. I'm Scott Piehler. I hope you'll join me again next Sunday at 8 a.m. for the Alameda Connection right here on KCSM HD2.